tonight.
So we're moving into, yeah, you will. We're moving into our bridging, our intermediate one. So leg extensions. So she's warmed up. We've warmed her up. Her, she's on arches or heels. She is, you would not do this with somebody who's not able to hold up with strong stability and support. So just FYI on that. Let's do a hinge up. So find a neutral pelvis. You're going to actively press into the back of your arms. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, hinge up. Ooh, that was a nice articulation. So holding your neutral. Now as one unit, you're going to lift up. Yep, hold that neutral. There we go. All right, now from this position, holding stable, you'll press the carriage out. Keep hips up. And then draw the carriage back in. Knees going over the foot bar, pressing out and in, and then hinging back down. So you could do that with the hinge. We could do that. You need to stretch a little.
Yeah.
We can do that also with a, my watch is telling me to go to bed. What is that? It's not.
That was yours, okay.
I don't know why that's happening. Something's wrong there. Let's do an articulation with that. So inhale here, exhale, articulating up. We're in a nice strong support now, pressing the carriage out, keeping hips lifted. Draw the carriage back in, heels go towards the glutes, and then articulating back down. Yeah, inhale here, exhale up. So it could be a hinge or a articulate, pressing out, drawing back in, and articulating back down. Then we'll move into a single leg. Sometimes your client might need a little more, more advanced. They're probably not going to need any more spring, but we'll see. Which leg do you want to work? All right, let's work this leg. It needs to build a little strength.
Okay, so this one's going to be planted?
This one's going to stay. This is going to be your stabilizing leg. This is going to be your moving leg. So that kind of working leg, if you will. So we're going to actually press up with both legs. Inhale here, exhale, articulate up. Now holding here, draw your left knee into tabletop. Yep. Now extend it towards the ceiling. Point. Now flex it. Point it. Bend it. And bring it back down. Find stability there. Now right knee comes up, tabletop. Extend it. Bend it. And step it back down. And kind of articulate back down. All right, I'm going to take us through a little bit more of a series of building, right? Find neutral, because I know it's a little bit more challenging for you. In a neutral position, we're going to hinge up. Perfect. Now, really anticipate a shift of weight. We do not want the pelvis to move. Just draw right knee up. Yeah, step it down. Anticipate the shift. Draw left leg up. Step it down. Right leg. So marching and left leg. Then we'll add on to that. Right leg now comes up, extend, bend, and back down. Left leg up, extend, bend, back down, and release down. So those, I would start with like a marching, not even necessarily coming all the way to tabletop, maybe just even an inch off and down. If my clients are doing fine with that, then going to the full marching, then adding the extension. Now we'll add, are you doing okay so far? Mm-hmm. Then we'll add on a little bit more, and I'm hoping it's gonna work with our bar here. I might, as she's doing this, just so the video isn't forever for you, Angela, I'm gonna see if I can move this up. So you're going to come up into your tabletop position, draw your left knee into tabletop, and then extend it overhead. Now, keeping it extended, not letting your hips move, lower your leg down so thigh is even with the other thigh, and draw it back up. You can get a little stretch here now. And lower, and lift. Now holding here, another addition is lower an inch, and lift and squeeze it, reaching. Lower and reach and squeeze. Use the back of your arms too. Lower and squeeze, lower and squeeze. Now bend back to tabletop and release it down. Left knee comes up. You okay?
Yeah, that's the cramp in the leg. This feels good.
All right, now we'll do that same little lower. So we can do the lower and lift. That's a lot of core stabilizing. Or we can stay up here. Another option is this little 1 inch up and down, reaching through the toes, down an inch. So just about an inch, little pulses, and up, down, and up, 2, and 1, keeping the carriage home. Bend your knee back to tabletop, find the bar. Inhale here, let's articulate, kind of melt your spine back down. Good, nice job with that. You can give yourself a little hug here. I wanna make sure I did the right thing, yeah, okay. So now we'll move into hands and straps. We're moving into the arms. I am changing her springs out to 1 red and 1 blue. Her headrest was down for bridging. At this time, she has the option of bringing it back up if that's a little more comfortable for her. She's going to reach back, grabbing her straps, placing her hands inside the small loops. Now, her straps were kind of shorter, so I'm gonna say push the carriage out so that when you bring your arms overhead, your wrists are kind of lined up more with your armpits. So you're not gonna press that, bend through your knees, bringing your hands right here, yep. So in hands and straps, we kind of did protraction, retraction before. She's gonna really set the shoulders. So she's not reaching, but she's also not pinned down. She's right in the middle, keeping them set. Her wrists stay strong and straight, her fingers stay zipped together. So as one unit, from the shoulder joint to the fingers, she's lowering and lifting. If my client is having a little bit of trouble with their wrists bending back, I'd rather actually, I tell them, think more like a gooseneck, a slight gooseneck coming forward just a tiny bit. I'd rather have that motion than kinking back, because we're working on building wrist strength here too. Now finding a imprint in your pelvis, draw one knee into tabletop and then the other. With more advanced clients, I don't always use a ball, but a ball is a great tool to help people in staying in this position, especially when they're starting. We'll do a little lower and lift of the arms. As she's lowering and lifting, shoulders are staying set. She's neutral or soft through the collarbone. Her fingertips are reaching forward and out as if she's trying to touch something. I see her wrist kind of coming back, so think about rounding them forward. Yes, little more work. Now think of using your rib cage muscles to help you too. Do you feel a little help on that? Mm-hmm. As you exhale, I want you to think of squeezing the ball as you scoop abs in and up. And now I want you to think, instead of using momentum on the way down, use all muscle energy. 3, 2, 1, and up. So same length of spade, down and up. Next time your arms come down, I want you to stop there. Now sometimes when we get too low, the shoulder head starts to pop forward. So I like to say stop about 3 to 4 inches above. Now from this position, we're gonna bend through the elbows, fingers point towards the ceiling, stay broad and press away. Squeeze through the back of your arms. Bend and press. 2 more here. And 1. And bring arms back overhead. Good. Hand, feet finding the foot bar. All right, so adding extensions to this, and we're just, are you okay just doing the lower and lift of the arms? Okay, so that's our level 1, just lowering and lifting, working on legs staying in a tabletop position. If my clients are still saying like, oh, I'm aching and my hip flexors are dying, I will tell clients they can cross their ankles, and with some I even say it's okay, have your feet on the bar, but I want you to, they're just there and it's your arms doing the work. But ideally, or bring your knees closer into your chest. That the last thing would be feet on the bar, if you will. Okay, she's gonna bring her hands back up, imprint through the pelvis, knees come into tabletop, zipping them together now. I like to kind of say little Pilates V, because I'm going to take her into some extensions with this. Now draw your, as she draws her arms down along the sides of your body, she's going to, arms up, she's going to nod her chin and scoop and lift coming into thoracic flexion. So arms come down, nod the chin, scoop through the abs coming up, reaching the fingers towards the middle of the room, and then as your arms come up, releasing back down. Inhale, oop, all right, now noticing her hands are going past her shoulders, so make sure you're stopping at your armpits. Inhale here, as you exhale, nod the chin, scoop through the abs, reaching forward and down, and then back down. Let's do 1 more of those. I'm just gonna place my hands here. I don't want her knees to come forward as she comes down. She did pretty good there, but it's just a little cue we can do. Inhale, exhale, scoop round and down. I also like to sometimes have people hold up here. So nod, scoop, round on the exhale, hold. Now as they're holding here, now I say think ribs coming over, abs under, stay broad through the collarbone, and then release back down. It gives them that time to really kind of reconnect with all those things that are happening as they go there. Now next extension to this, we can just do the lowering and lifting. Next extension is as her arms come down and she comes into thoracic flexion, she's going to extend her legs out to a 45-degree angle in a Pilates V, actively squeezing inner thighs together. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, nod, scoop, reach, extend, squeeze, and then releasing back down. Now the angle that she sends her legs is going to depend on what she's able to maintain as far as an imprint through the pelvis. If you're feeling your pelvis pop up and then any hip rib disconnect, she's going to take her legs to a higher angle. Inhale to prepare, exhale, nod, scoop, lift, and then coming back down. Yes. And down, scoop, reach, and down. And now, Terry's having a tendency of going a little bit faster on the way up and slower on the way down. Super common, right? So I'm just going to tell her, I want you to think of even accounting in your head. I'm exhaling 2, 3, and down 2, 3, or maybe it's a 2 count. But we want that to be more of an even, smooth movement with control. In, exhale, reach, inhale, come back. Yes, let's do one more of those. That was beautiful. Really squeeze and back. Nice job. You can rest your feet for a moment, taking a rest. That was awesome. Really good. Great adjustment on that. All right, moving to 100s, and then we get to move into, I'm seeing feet in straps, but I don't have my sheet. Oh well. I'll make up something. Sorry, I don't have my sheet with me. Okay, so now we'll move into 100s using our straps. Now, we did the progressions. One of the progressions was head stays down, knees and tabletop. The next progression was as the arms come forward, we come into thoracic flexion with the upper body. And the last one was the legs. Now, another progression that we didn't do was a single leg stretch, where you're up, one leg extends and then the other. In 100s, you could come up, you can keep your head down and just pump with knees and tabletop. You could come into thoracic flexion, knees and tabletop. You can come up to thoracic flexion, one leg extends for maybe a count of 10 and then you switch to the other for a count of 10, or both legs come out, inner thighs squeezing, doing it for 10 and maybe tabletop for 10, alternating, coming down with your head, neck, and shoulders anytime you're feeling strain in your neck. The key thing is, at least what I like to tell my clients is when you're starting to feel the strain, it's better to back off, be in good alignment, not do anything that's going to injure or cause strain, right? Okay, it's inhale for 5 quick counts, exhale for 5 quick exhales, or you can inhale for 5 counts and exhale for 5, kind of your option. I like to do the little quick breaths. Arms overhead, imprint, knees and tabletop. You're going to exhale coming down and begin reaching through the fingers. In 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep scooping through the abs. 5 and out. Nice adjustment. In 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 4, 5. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got it. 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5 and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. 2, 5 and 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, last one, 4, 5 and out, 2, 4, 5, scoop, come up a little higher, no, and release. All right, so I probably should just stop at 5, I should stop at 5. One of the things I noticed is as we went a little further and she started to fatigue a little bit, her hands came out to the side a little more, away from her body. Did you notice that?
No.
So I would probably have stopped her at when I got to like 5 and just said, all right, let's rest and let her know, okay, you're starting to come out, let's keep it back in and then progress from there. But nice work with that. I really in 100s, like to give my students permission to be a little vocal with the breath on the, especially on the exhalation, because we're so quiet in Minnesota. Nobody likes to. Okay, I've got supine feet and straps, and my sheet I don't have with me, so I'm just going to wing it. So to get into feet and straps, I'm going to have her keep the same springs right here. One leg's going to stay on, and I'll hold one strap while you place your foot in the loop. Now, I like to place the loop a little bit closer to the heel as opposed to the toes, because then we get into a little bit of backside of the leg better. That's just my own personal, oops. Now, before you bring that leg up, let's come back down with that leg, just because this is part of my instruction. Find your foot to the bar.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to have you push this foot down and forward so you feel your pelvis a little more flat,
Okay.
tailbone's not lifted, then keep that pressure.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's pull this down just a little bit. Okay. All right, we're at about a 45-degree angle right here. Her pelvis is going to come into neutral for feet and straps. Arms are going to come along the sides of her body, relaxing. I like to have the headrest up a little bit for legs, feet, and straps, but that's a personal preference. Holding this 45-degree angle, I want her to really let her rib cage sink back down. You know, depending on the class and what you've been doing before, sometimes we are off and then we come back to here, and I like to resettle onto the reformer. Let's start in a Pilates V. So heels are going to stay connected. At a beginning level, I like to do that. We've got a little more control of both legs moving at the same speed and kind of being aware if one leg wants to push more than the other, they kind of have to stay together with the work. Holding the neutral pelvis as she slowly, you're going to point through the toes thinking long, lean legs, right? Now, as she lifts the legs up, she's going to hold neutral, keeping her tailbone heavy on the mat. So the first couple I like to go slow. As soon as you feel your tailbone maybe start to lift and you lose that neutral, you're going to stop there. That's going to be your challenge place, your edge. Now, using the backs of your legs, holding neutral, keeping broad through the collarbone, you're going to press down, and you're going slow still to that point where you find your edge on this end. If she goes any further, she's going to feel the disconnect of hips and ribs. So from that point, so that's her edge. Now she knows where her edge is. She's going to find a smooth movement, inhaling up and exhaling down. So I'm feeling a little bit, maybe don't go quite as high. Up, yeah, and down. Holding that neutral, up, pointing through your toes unless you're cramping, and down, long spine. So that would be like a level 1 beginner. You also could place a ball between the thighs and add, for a little more advanced, a little squeeze, but I'm going to take you in a progression of that. Let's come back to 45 because I feel like there's little effort in that. Come to parallel, and now separate the feet. Now in this parallel, there's no connection. It's a little more challenging now to make sure legs are coming up and down. And inhaling up, yeah, at the same speed and still tracking right in line with the sit bones. Nice and long and lean, reaching away. Now I'm going to add a ball. And as she lifts, she's going to do a squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, and down. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. So we get a little more adduction work here. Good. Now holding at a 45-degree angle, we're still in parallel. She's going to bend the knees, coming to tabletop. Knees stop right over her hips. Now press away and do 2 squeezes of the ball, little beats. Squeeze, squeeze. Bend and press, squeeze, squeeze, yes. And press, squeeze, squeeze. Hold there. We can also, even though the ball is here, come into like a Pilates V, kind of pointing. Now in this frog, we're going to flex through the feet as she bends her knees. As she straightens them out, she's going to point and do 2 little beats. Squeeze, squeeze. Bend, excellent. And press, squeeze, squeeze, and one more. I'm not going to kill her on this. And squeeze, squeeze. So I'll remove the ball, and we'll move into leg circles. So Let's do leg circles. We often like to go into external rotation, but we're gonna stay in a parallel for this. So in leg circles, she'll inhale, legs come up to that point, opening, down, around, and together. Now with a beginning class or a beginning student, I would have her only open the legs about the width of the carriage, because I'm wanting to see how well they're able to stabilize the pelvis. If they didn't have any success in stabilizing the pelvis in just our lower lifts, I wouldn't even go to leg circles. Now next time she comes up, we'll change direction. Coming down, out and around and open. Nice stability, still staying broad through the collarbone. I always watch on my students when we come to circles as they're coming up that they're not going past that edge. We don't want the pelvis to be moving at all. You're holding that stability. And one. All right, let's take one more, kind of more advanced move, if you will. Let's bring legs overhead. You doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now your left leg, you're right at kind of that edge. Yep, your left leg is going to stay put. When we move the right leg, there's going to be slack on that, but your goal is to just keep reaching your left leg up and out, okay? Now pushing through the back of the right leg. Right leg is going to come down to the edge without locking your knee, and then coming back up. Yeah. So in this unilateral work, she's still trying to keep her hips stabilized, not tilting side to side, not tilting forward and back, yet reaching long through both legs. One is going straight up, one is going out and down. And then when she comes up, we'll switch legs. Now, as she's coming down and up with her working leg, she is still wanting to be mindful that her working leg isn't moving side to side. So that is coming straight down. Oops. Oh, she's alternating now.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to alternate.
No, just working this one.
Oh.
No, that's okay. You're just going more advanced. There we go. And I feel in this leg there's a little more of that happening, so let's stick with this one more to kind of really let the muscles and the brain kind of figure out that stability piece. And release. And now to come out of our legs and straps here, she's going to bend, push into one foot. As she takes one strap off, she would hang this up. I'll do it for her. And then she would move to hang up the other. Other more advanced legs and straps would be doing a single leg, just one strap. It could be crossed, it could be on the same side, or on her side, single leg. All right, because I don't have my sheet, I just don't know which one, so that's my bad. Okay, upper body facing straps, bicep curls. Is this one showing me? Yeah. So we're gonna come up, our headrest is going to be down. We're gonna move into bicep curls here. So she's facing our risers or our straps. I'm gonna have her bring her legs in between. In this, if you've got a tall client, or legs or calves that have more girth, Terry's work here, you could cross their legs, your ankles, if you will. I'm just gonna change this to one red. You could probably do a red and a blue, but she's gonna reach down and place her hands inside. Let's start with the long loop, but I want you to know in these exercises, I like my clients to know, instead of having to necessarily change the spring, they can always, if we start in the short, let's start in the short loops. If you start in the short loops and you're like, oh, maybe I need a little less, then sliding into the long loops gives you a little less resistance, a little less tension, and if that's still too little, I can always change that for you. So in this position, her arms are out in front of her. She's going to turn her palms up. She's sitting up nice and tall. Elbows are here. She's relaxed through the shoulders in a neutral position, holding this position, which earlier she said she's pretty comfortable doing. She's going to bend the elbows, drawing her hands right up. Actually, yeah, and then extending long. So instead of her elbows coming into her chest, we're gonna see, oops, let your arms go. We're gonna see if she can keep her elbows right here in space and then bend hands up to shoulders. Feel a little difference? Mm-hmm. In this, she's having to work a lot of back muscle to stabilize here. Are you feeling that? Not all people are able to do that. So an adjustment on this, so let's just stop for a second. She's supercharged here. Couple things we can do on this. We can come into a soft round back. So she's got a little space between her seat and the end of the carrot. So you're gonna kind of tuck the tailbone under, rolling onto the back side. Now as she did that, I don't know if you noticed, but her shoulders collapsed forward. We're not going to do that. We're gonna just do that round back from belly down, which is more difficult for her. We know that, right? So coming back up nice and tall. Now your chin might nod a little bit, but I want you to try and maintain this integrity and just scoop through the abs, rolling onto the back of the sit bone just a little. Yeah, so she's here. Now holding this position, let's try it. Just a little different. Does that feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're stabilizing really well here. A little more challenging could be to take that down a little bit further. Let's take that down. All right. All right, and release. Now a couple other ways to challenge this, and the same thing with most of the exercises we've done, is I could have her come to like halfway and then just bend halfway and all the way. So she's bending all the way halfway. And then instead of that, she would extend all the way and then just bend partially, staying relaxed through the collarbone. And then halfway, yeah. And then going back to full range. Yeah. Good, nice job with that. What else do I have here? Intermediate, teaser balance, all right. So, we're moving into teaser, a lot of strong core, and with balance. So I am actually going to have her bend her knees, bringing her feet flat onto the headrest, and maybe scoot just a tiny bit up. Yeah, you should be okay there. Her arms are going to stay long. She's going to roll back onto the back side of her sit bones, stay open and long. So she's in a neutral pelvis here, and then draw knees into tabletop. Yeah, so let's bring the feet back down, and let's come up one knee at a time. So arms stay long. Yeah, one knee comes up, set that down. Then the other knee.
I told you Rose weak, the core.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And then release back down. Now, she just has one spring on here, and sometimes it actually helps to have a little more spring. So I'm actually going to kind of lean forward a little bit, give her a little more spring, and see if that kind of helps her a little bit with stability. Sometimes that's just a nice counter. Staying open through the chest, arms are long, collarbones open.
Why did I not do this?
Yeah, oh, okay.
I don't.
And then release back down. Now, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. We're gonna bring this in. Now by bringing the ball in and her having to squeeze, she's gonna get a little more support through her core to help her on this. But let's set up first. Arms are going to stay long, okay? So think long spine. Neutral pelvis, you're going to hinge back only. So hinge back first. Stay broad through the collarbone. Good, keep scooping abs in. Now I'm gonna assist you a little just to lift the knees up a little bit, or heels up a little bit. Stay
I
broad.
can't begin to do it.
Okay, so that's okay. Holding right here, are you working?
Yeah.
So this this is our starting point, right?
Wow.
3, 2, 1, and release. Now we also have done quite a bit with your abs, so, and you did it, yes, you did some stuff yesterday in your class, so, that's okay. In this teaser balance, we were coming up into a tabletop. Another option, if clients are not having any issue with it, is to extend the legs long, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
okay.
can't believe.
Yeah. So there you go.
Kinda. Cheating.
Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. It might not even be the one that they're supposed to be doing. All right, what do I have next? Upper body facing away. All right. So we're gonna hang the straps up. I will, well, just for this. I'll take the ball and you're gonna turn and face away.
Okay.
Legs are going to extend. Now, okay. With our bicep curls, if I wanted to add, I wanna kinda go back just for a minute. I had her seated, legs were extended. You could also do that with seated legs crisscross, Or more advanced would be bringing her onto her knees. Her front of her thighs would be up against the shoulder block. And in that position, I actually have her lean back or stay pronated and then do the arms. And she really has to work then even more back, which she doesn't necessarily, maybe we don't want to build a lot more until we get the front built. But a more advanced would then be bringing her to the knees with that. All right, we're moving into an exercise called Hug a Tree here. So I have moved the spring, just for right now, to a blue. She's going to take the long loops, and I have a blue because these straps are a little bit short. She might have been able, you have to take all those things into consideration where we're at in a different class. Her arms are going to start down here along the sides of her body or the side of the reformer. She is sitting up nice and tall. Now, do you want to try legs crossed, or are you okay with legs on?
I'm okay with legs on.
Okay, legs on. So she's got a nice and tall and stable. Let's draw your head back just a little bit without your chin going up. Yeah. All right, arms come forward just a little bit. So they're never going to come past, like once we start working, past your kind of seam of your side hips. She's going to bring her arms out in front of her. Yep, out and up in front of her. Now from here, I want her to open up her arm like she's hugging a big ball, staying broad through the collarbone, scooping abs in and out. Now open your arms out to the side. You should still see your hands in your peripheral vision, and then squeeze in. Think of ribs and everything hugging in. Relax through your shoulders, maybe a little bit lower with the arms. Yes, there you go. Now we have a tendency to want to lean back in some of these. So yep, good adjustment there. She's really nice and tall. And just one more. I don't like to do too many of these. And then turn palms up and release them back down. I would have her kind of keep her arms further out in front as you release down. But did that feel okay? In your, okay. All right, shave the head. Okay, so for shave the head, we move into a little more intermediate. She is going to, for shave the head, come into a little bit of flexion through the hip, right? So you will be hinging slightly forward on this, but we'll come to that. All right, right here. Arms are gonna come forward and up. All right, from this position, she's going to bring her hands around so that her pointer finger and thumbs are together, and they're kind of right on top of her forehead. Now hinge, holding neutral, hinging forward, she's going to press up and out, and then release. Yep, holding nice and strong. Now, if I want to take this a little further, we're gonna hold left hand there, and just her, oops, come back. Now just her right hand is going to go. Yes. And then her left arm. Nice. And what I'm looking for is that she's, and then you can release your hands forward and out and down. Yeah. So what I'm looking for when she's moving into single arm, and she did a really nice job of that, is that the shoulders are not twisting, like one's going in front of the other, that they stayed nice and square towards the front. You did a great job with that, really nice. Okay, shave the head in the unilateral, we got that down. So, we're gonna hang the straps up. I'm going to get a different box, since the box is supporting the and we'll move into short box. So I've got short box on here. Now she's on we're on the Cadillac here, which is a little bit higher, which the higher you are off the ground, the more difficult or the more challenging balance is. So are you okay with height? Okay, so I am gonna have you carefully kind of come up, use the foot bar to kind of assist you.
Am I facing?
Facing that way. And before I would even have my client get up, I would make sure that I've got all the springs on. So every spring on is one of those cues that we always have when we're doing anything with short box. In addition to all the springs on, my cue to my students is get all the springs on and pull your strap up from underneath the bar. All right, we're doing a seated front with rotation. Okay. Seated front with rotation is our first thing. So I'm gonna have her sit back just a little bit so that legs are a little bit longer and she's really feeling the activation of, oh, no, not quite that far. Come up a little bit, yeah. But I do want your legs further. Are you able to kind of hook under more, or is it, should I pull this up? Goes underneath this way. No, that'll work. This is it. Are you, so bring your heels off the,
Off?
yeah, there we go. So they're floating and you're pushing actively into this, right?
Okay.
Now holding that, I'm gonna be here just as a little support. I want you to feel if you push into that, if you lean back at all, you're supported, okay? All right, so you're going to bring your arms out to the side, sitting up nice and tall, neutral pelvis. From this position, we'll do a basic hinge back. So holding neutral, she's coming back to about 45-degree angle, whoop, whoop, and then a little bit further. Push into the feet to come back up. Yeah, so I'm gonna start a little bit smaller range of motion. Inhale here, exhale, holding neutral. Being mindful that you're not reaching back with your upper chest. Scoop as you exhale, coming forward and down. Nice. And as I see, they can support it, but we don't need to go past like a 45. And up. Good. All right, we're gonna turn this into a little rotation diagonal. So she inhales here. As she exhales, let's rotate to the left. I'm changing it up a little bit. Now, we'll just hinge back and come up and twist back to center and to the right. Hinge back, come back up to center, and then twist. Twist left, hinge back. This is just a twist. Coming back to center, and then to the right. Yep, to the right, and back up, and center. Now we'll move into a diagonal. I misspoke earlier. So instead of when you're hinging back, going straight back, you're going to hinge to that diagonal, kind of reaching away in the direction. So we're twisting, and then coming back up and center. Now I want you to think of your arms staying in opposition, so twist first. Okay, now that arm's gonna keep reaching away that way. Now hinge this direction, come back up, yes, and center, and then hinge the other way. This keeps reaching. Hinge to the side, and back, and center. One more time. That's a great adjustment on that. I don't know where my notes are, what I'm supposed to do next. Do you see?
Down there.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Angela. Okay, all right, seated, we did rotation, we did a hinge. Side facing, okay. Oh, I love these.
I hate these. It's this, isn't it?
Okay, yeah,
I
but
see.
I'm actually,
It's this thing, isn't
so
it?
now we're moving into this side body. Before I let my clients do any leaning over, I want them to make sure that this top leg and toe are pointing towards the wall that they are facing. So it's really at that angle, toes pointing that way. And then push your heel or ankle into it so you feel you've got that stability. Now, your client, if their hips are a little tight and this is uncomfortable, they can have their leg over the box. A more challenging place to place your foot is to have your bottom foot hooking underneath your top long. So you get a little bit more on your side. I actually have difficulty with this, but when I bring my bottom leg under, I do better. But I think, it's kind of, every body is so different. Yeah, so we'll just start with this. So Terry's like, what? Now, I am going to have her hand here so that when she comes down, she's got the headrest, and I'm going to ask her to use that for this first one. We're just going to come over to a lean-to so you get the feel of this. This hand is out to the side. With a nice long side through both sides, she comes up. If she wants, she can turn the palm this way, bringing bicep by the ear. Really push into the strap, push up, and reach long, 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 and then bring the hand back up. You can use this hand to assist you coming back up. And really, I want you to start using this more.
Okay.
Do you feel you're not wanting to a
No,
little bit?
because I can do it. I know, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I know, this is the basic. Yep, okay.
Yep.
So arms out. And then you're going to begin to hinge, finding the headrest. So you'll have to bend. Bend the elbow, reaching over. Great stretch. And then coming back up. Beautiful. Now we'll take it a little further. Arms are out, coming out and down. This time, if you'd like, your hand can go past, reaching, maybe going all the way over. Your head can look straight ahead too. And then coming all the way up. And open, nice. Now, another place to go with this, which I think is more challenging, is to bring the hands behind the hat. Now you can start with one hand, maybe it's just your right arm with your left hand there to support you if you want. That would be your first progression, so let's try that, extending out. Does that seem right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so she's gonna go for full blown and then back up. So what I'm noticing is as she's coming over, she's starting to twist. Did you feel that on that one?
So I want to stay back that way.
So you want to stay nice and long, keeping your shoulders squared to that wall. I'm not worrying about how far down you go, so staying long. Yes. And then press into your foot to come back up. Now because she's got that down pretty well, I'm going to take her to another place. You're going to come, lean over to the side again. Are you okay with your arms there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's going to push into her foot. Come over to the side. When she comes here now, she's going to twist and rotate, looking down towards the middle. Come back to the side. Now open up towards the ceiling. Ah, yes. Back to the side and back up. Woo! Nice work with
Wow.
that. I love that. Now, wanting to take that further, your leverage coming long is going to give you a little more challenge. So the longer the lever, so we can try it. I'm here to support. And then turn and twist in. Yes. Twist back, being sure that you're now back. Yes, I like it kind of separate. Keep pushing into your foot to support. Keep your neck right in line and then right back up. Nice work with that. That was great.
Wow.
Do I get bonus points for
That was-
good work on that? All right. Do you want to do just a couple on this
I
side?
should do a couple on this
Yeah.
side. This poor leg.
All right.
This is my bad side anyway. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let her just do a couple here. And just notice, I'm gonna talk about a few things. I want her to think about keeping her neck in line with her spine, not letting it kind of hinge down. So a little of that, staying broad through the collarbone, good. Really kicking into your foot, nice. And like I mentioned earlier too, if your students get pretty proficient at that, pretty strong, extending the bottom leg down, kind of hooking it under, and then you come up onto more of the side of your hip.
Under that.
Does it seem better if it would be over? No,
No.
it's under.
It's under.
Yeah, it's under.
Can't get onto. No, it's too hard on my knee.
Oh,
that-
yeah,
That
then we,
which is
the
my
external,
knee, yeah.
yeah,
I have to
for
start with this.
lateral, okay.
Yep. I could feel that.
Do you feel yourself doing this?
I do. I
So
start to
that
stay
would be,
straighter.
yep, so think I wanna keep my cervical spine right and long line. Yeah, good,
Yeah, I have to think. I can't
Yeah.
just do it.
yeah. But that's part of advancing, being aware of it, so then you know you can work on that. Okay, I'm gonna have you carefully come off, and we'll move to a long box. We're almost there. Okay, now on our long box, we have beginner variation of extensions, plank to prone. What do I have? Okay, I have no idea. So, I'm gonna, I'm gonna adjust this. Now we're moving on to her back. For her to get on, I'm still going to keep a little bit of spring so she's not having the carriage move, especially because we're in a higher position. I'm also going to lower this down just one and have her come to facing the riser. So she will bring her hands to the box, and now because we've got this pole, because we've got the pole here, you might have to just come up on the hands and knees and then extend. We're kind of playing. Typically on the regular reformer, this isn't a big thing.
Lay down.
Yeah, and then she's gonna come onto her chest. So,
Girls are hanging
so
over.
she's in a place where, the girls are kind of over. She does not want to feel discomfort there at all. Now that she is in this position, because I haven't worked with her, she doesn't have any shoulder issues, but I'm going to start with just a nice blue spring on, nothing too much. We're going to start with just activating. You can support yourself here with hands on the rails. I want you to pin your belly button towards your spine and extend nice and long through the legs. Scoop, scoop, scoop. Yeah, just reaching long, but belly button pinning to the spine. Now, because she has more difficulty with her abs being strong, that's a cue I know I would continue to give her throughout so that she doesn't work on the back and then end up with back strain later, okay? So legs just kind of nicely activated. I could start here working backside of the body, maybe swimmer legs, if you will, one leg up, and then switching the other, keeping knees straight, tightening through the glute. And then now let's just hold, and then reach your arms further out on the rails. Now from this position, I want her to, before she does anything, abs are drawing in towards the spine. Your shoulder blades are going to initiate down the back as you draw the carriage towards your hand, and then away with control. Yep, so belly still pinning to the spine. Basic little work through the lats here, right? Really squeezing. Now we can take this into a tiny extension of the thoracic. As you come forward, think of reaching the crown of your head and your chest forward. Now crown of your head, think of here, reaching towards the wall in front of you, shoulder blades down your back. Just a tiny bit lift. Yeah, and down and release. All right, now, we're just bring the carriage home. For a rest here, she has the option. She can bend her knees to soften through here. Sometimes a gentle windshield wiper feels good, or she can keep her legs long. Now I am going to have her take the straps, and I'm going to have you take the long moves. They're going to be reaching out in front of her. Belly is pinned to her spine. I'm not the loops. I'm sorry. You're going to take the tape.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Hands are going to come outside of the rails. Yep, and now does that feel okay in that for power? Okay, so bring your arms forward and a little bit, right along the side here. Pitting, belly button, legs engaged, shoulder blades come down as you reach your arms straight back up to about hip height, and then release back and forward. All right, I'm going to have you slide your hands down onto the metal. Yeah, they're just a little too far forward. Okay, arms stay straight. Now she's having a tendency to go pretty wide, like airplane, really getting into lats more. And I want you to think about hands staying closer to the rail and really work more through the back of your arms. It's going to be a little more difficult. You might not even go as high. So there she is. Now, if I'm noticing she's wanting more momentum to do the movement, I really want to focus on those muscles that might be a little bit weaker. So let's slide down into the small handles. Yeah, palms face away, keeping the hands fairly narrow. Now see if you can bring them all the way up right into your side seams. Yes. Initiate with shoulder blades down, then, and then we can take this into a little extension. She pulls up. Yeah, not the chin, but think long. Center of your heart. Belly pinned to the spine. Yeah. Now stay up. Elbows stay right here. Bend through the elbows. Bend the elbows. Hands go down. and press away.
Got it.
So now we're getting back in those same tricep muscles, which we're wanting to build a little strength in. Let's just do one more, and you can release and hang the straps down. Oh, I forgot how to do breaststroke. Okay, last little thing, I wanna just look really fast, sorry, but I just, I don't wanna do the wrong thing again. Since I don't have the sheet that has all those things. Okay, alright. So, we're gonna take our hands into the long loop. This is an advanced kind of prone. So, you are going to bring your hands, right up here along the side of your body. Yeah. Belly button, why is that?
Right.
You're not feeling any.
Right.
Yeah, it's because we're on the right thing.
I don't really.
I know, this is so crazy. No, this is correct. Why is that? You're pushing, oh, okay. I'm gonna have you now just kind of slide and face the other direction. Yeah, we're gonna
Turn
go
around?
Yeah, so come to tabletop.
This one?
Yeah, and I'm gonna help support you, yeah. We're moving into breaststroke, and in breaststroke, we're prone facing
Am I
away
laying
from
down?
the risers, and you're gonna come back onto your belly. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, then I'm gonna put a blue down because we added
Blue is
more
here.
spring for her to move, yeah. Okay, now the straps are gonna come into your hands.
Oh.
And she is going to hold the long loops. She's right here, so. Now, if you think of breaststroke, your arms are gonna reach forward, right? Arms forward. Now kind of coming out and in and up, yes. In and up, belly is pinned to your spine. Legs are reaching. Can you zip your legs together? Oh yeah, she's already got that. Shoulder blades down the back, let's just do one more. And release arms along the sides of your body. Good, alright, so if I had done all those other things with you in this position, it probably would have been an easier transition, so sorry, Angela. Alright, if you wanna do a quick, okay, I'm gonna have you slide off. And last little thing here is a little springboard. So we are here. Do you see it?
What am I looking for?
Springboard.
Springboard.
Jump board.
I have no idea.
Come on, people. It's not here. Alright.
This will be a new one. Maybe here. Long, well, my first one, when we did that. I don't know.
Oh, bathroom break, Angela. I'm sorry, I just I don't know how to, if I stop the video, it just ends. And, I don't wanna have to send you 3 different videos and drive you nuts. Alright, so we've got the jump board on. Nice and tight. And bilateral jumping, show ankle articulation. Okay, so she's gonna come supinated, so on her back, onto the carriage. And I'm gonna bring up headrest just to that middle position for her, and she can bring her feet just kind of up towards the top, but toes are on hip distance apart. Yeah, arms along sides of your body. Let your rib cage just kind of settle in. Take a couple breaths. We've been doing quite a few different exercises here. So our first work will be kind of ankle articulation or foot articulation, because when we jump off the board, our whole foot is on, our heel comes off, ball off, and then toe, ball, heel. So we're gonna kind of go through that motion. So you're gonna press the carriage out, heels lift up, ball out into the toes, and then rolling back down and coming in with the releasing out, heels lift up, and bringing down and coming in. And you'll notice as people come in from this, kind of where they're at with mobility through the ankles. You know, some might be able to have their feet a little bit lower and come all the way in with it, and some not as much. And then we'll change it. So now come up, keep the carriage in, lift up, press out, and then roll down and come in. Lifting up and out and down and in, and one more. And in. Alright, so now a nice little kind of warm up with lighter weight with this is we're going to start to add a little jumping with this. So imprint through your pelvis. Now I would not, jump boards are like a 1.5 or higher, and I know Terry's been doing Pilates for a long time, so I know she's got the stability here, but you're going to keep an imprint through this. If you got clients strong enough, they're not going to injure, but you're right there. So right now, you're actually going to just do mini jumps with articulation. So press out and hold. And then I want you to just think of, you're gonna do a little bend of the knee and just kind of push out a little and come back in. Yeah, is that a little too much weight?
No.
Okay, so yeah, so just keep a little of that, yep. So you're pushing off, heel ball toe, and then toe ball heel. Yep, and knees have a little cushioning, yeah. And come all the way in. I'm gonna change that out. Now let's try it.
Whoa.
Yeah, see, I have a little more. It might be a little too light.
That's all my core.
Yeah, it's a lot of core. Which actually is a nice warm up before we move into jumping, because we want the core to be activated, alive, and ready to support. As a wedge, okay. Alright, so we've got the mobility. Now I'm gonna actually add another spring, and now we'll do a basic bilateral footwork, working the mechanics of the ankles. Let's toe ball heel. So starting out here, you're gonna keep feet parallel, bend the knees, drawing in, and now push off. So push off and land. So as you land now, you're gonna come all the way in. So in full jumps, push out and land. Kind of replacing your feet right where they left. Yep, holding neutral. Good. Now come to Pilates V, same thing.
So I'm never gonna, this one, I had 40 years ago, a steel plate and 9 screws in here.
Oh.
So this one will never, but,
Go all the
yeah.
way.
So it is where it is.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at that going, what the heck?
Yeah.
But that's like so old. Okay,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yep. And then as you come in, you're trying to come in as far as you're able to with mobility.
But having my heels planted. I want
Well,
my heels planted?
yeah, when you come in.
Yeah, so that's.
And that one won't, so
Yeah,
we'll
so that's
know.
kinda,
So we'll just come to, okay, so it's not gonna be as far,
yeah.
okay. But the biggest thing is you're cushioning your landing, which
Yeah.
is really important, and still getting some mobility through that. Okay, and then one last thing we'll go through is feet wide, so wide and parallel. So they could be wide and externally rotated or parallel. I'm just trying that, you're just kind of replacing them back. Now, as students get more advanced, you can go between the three, starting narrow together, to Pilates V, to wide, so kind of in and out. But the key thing is you're wanting your clients to work through the toe ball heel, heel ball toe. Alright, I believe that is all I have to do with jump boards. So then the last thing is using this as kind of a wedge. So I'm gonna have you roll off again, and this is the last little section here. We've got wedges in our room right here, but if you've got somebody in your class who has maybe has vertical real bad, or is pregnant, or has glaucoma, one way to use the wedge is as a, I think those are a little bit longer, is to use it as a angle type thing. So we've got more angle in it. So taking the pad, where's the foot pad? Oh, jeez. here we go. I'd use this underneath so it's not hard. So then she can come to sitting here. And you're gonna come all the way down in front of it, yeah, and then lying back, and then your feet can come to the foot bar.
It's comfy.
Yeah, it is really comfy, the first thing she said. So you've got somebody who's not supposed to lie all the way flat for any of those medical reasons, or even like a disc issue, and you've got more support here. You're in a nice angle. You can adjust the foot bar for this person if it brings them in a little bit closer. Then I have the foot bar a little bit further away, and based on where your knees are at, this is a better position for you. And work through your footwork here, so you can be moving in and out. Same thing. Sometimes it's nice if I'm working with a younger girl right now, and she doesn't have very good body spatial awareness. So one of the things that I was really working with her a lot on was lining her body up straight when she's on the reformer, and then getting her feet out front to where they're level with her sit bones. So when I actually brought the wedge in and had her up so she could see, it helped her to be able to figure out her space and awareness. So I even used it for something as simple as that. So kind of a nice little thing for that. So that's one way to use the wedge. Sometimes in a restorative class, it's just nice to have at the end as well. Yeah, and I don't, one of the things, maybe, I don't know if I'm supposed to use the jump board. Okay. I guess another thing that I'm gonna explain, because I didn't go into it, is the different types of springs you do for the jump board. So for footwork, you would use the same type of springs you would do on a regular reformer. So 2 reds and a blue, or 2 reds, a blue, green, kind of depending on where they're at with that. And depending on what you wanna accomplish in your footwork, the more strength or just working on alignment. Jumping, a nice jumping is like a red and a blue. So when you're working on some power moves, and then there's, if you're wanting to get into a lot more core, you're gonna do moon jumping, and moon jumping is either with 1 red or 1 blue. And then you have a lot of that hang time, but in that hang time, you're really having to work on supporting your core. Now, if somebody's having a hard time supporting your core, I would imagine you could do jumping here. I don't know, I haven't tried it. I don't know, sorry, I'm gonna have to explore and find out. I've probably been told and I don't remember. All right, Angela, I'm gonna turn it off so you can write your comments.